Everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about, including your therapist. The new Apple TV Plus comedy series Shrinking follows a grieving therapist, played by Jason Segel, who starts to break the rules and tell his clients exactly what he thinks. By ignoring his training and ethics, he finds himself making changes to people's lives, including his own. I sat down with co-creators Jason Segel and Goldstein to discuss how the series uses comedy to open the conversation on mental health. Jason, you play a therapist in Shrinking, and in a time where there's greater awareness about the benefits of talk therapy. But what I really like about the show, it doesn't only show the mental health struggles of the clients, but also turns the camera on the therapist as well.
Well, it's easy to view your therapist just as an authority figure who knows the best for you, but they're also just a human being going through their own struggles and adversities and rock bottoms just like you are. So that's the fun of the show, is to peek behind that curtain and realize, like, the person advising you may be a mess as well. What's on your mind today?
Like, I want to change, but I'm not particularly open to make those changes.
I'm trying.
Every time I get rid of one compulsion, another compulsion comes up.
Are you yawning right now? Spoiler alert, I feel like I'm stuck.
Right. How does that make you feel?
Do you think that now is a really relevant time to have a show where it talks about mental health when the conversation is surrounding mental health?
I think we're at this moment where, whether we realize it or not, we're all collectively grieving this idea that we've lost something we're not going to get back, whether it's an actual loved one, which is what's happening on the show, or just this time from the past few years, like our normalcy. So I think the show, like, kind of helps us all collectively work through this sense that something's gone, like, really awry, and through comedy. That's the best way to do it.
Definitely. And Brett, we know and love you as Roy Kent from Ted Lasso.
It's true.
Very much. Thanks.
And now you're wearing the writer, executive producer hat. Was it difficult to talk about such a heavy topic, but just as Jason said, put a little comedic flair to it?
Quite honestly, we've been asked a lot. Me and Bill Lawrence and Jason have been asked a lot about the tone of this show and how do you balance the tragedy of it with the comedy and the laughs. And I sort of go, it's just basic life, isn't it? Like, that's daily existence.
What was the hardest part, Jason, for you to film, and also Brett, for you to write?
The truth of making comedy for me is that it should always be based on honesty. That's what makes me laugh more than hijinks. So I think, like, trying to be really honest about some of the struggles expressed on the show. Harrison Ford's character has Parkinson's. My character has lost his wife. To examine the drama through really hard comedy is really hard, and also it makes stuff great.
And what was a scene that you found challenging as well?
The stuff that I love the most in the show, not that I have favourites, but is the parent-child stuff, and the fact that he's kind of failed her as a dad for a year, and then he's trying to re-establish himself as a dad, the kind of dynamic of how do you get that back after you've lost it, and she's been parenting him for a year, and you have a similar dynamic in a different way, but with Harrison and his daughter Lily Rabe, and getting it right so it really is emotionally satisfying without losing the funny. What
was it like when you found out that Harrison Ford was joining the cast?
A joke. It was like a joke for a long time. Like, obviously not Harrison Ford. We'll ask Harrison Ford, but obviously we're not getting Harrison Ford. We'll get someone like Harrison Ford. And then it was Harrison Ford.
Oh, hey, Paul. I'm worried about you, kid.
I mean, grieving her.
You've been numbing.
The craziest thing about Harrison Ford, who really could show up any way he wanted. He could show up not caring, not knowing his lines. He was the most dedicated to making this thing great. I don't think he's had a chance to do comedy in the way he has in this show, and it was, like, exciting for him to play in that area and to show people how funny he is, because he's hilarious in the show.
His character is also dealing with his own struggles. He has Parkinson's disease. Again, another heavy topic, but there's a comedic angle to that as well.
If you try to deal with drama through drama, it gets pretty heavy and uninteresting. But to deal with dramatic issues through comedy, that's how you process stuff. It's how you process stuff in life. You laugh with your loved ones, right? And so I think that that's, like, one of the great benefits of comedy, is it lowers the defenses so then you can start really dealing with stuff.
So explain this alternative approach that Jimmy ends up taking. At first, it's an accident, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially at first it's a breakdown. It's a guy who is stuck in his own life, stuck in his own grief, who is face to face with a bunch of patients who are stuck in their cycle, and he makes them a reflection of himself and says enough is enough, and tries to break that cycle and just starts telling his patients what to do.
Why was that important to show this alternative approach that he takes, and also the hesitation from his coworkers?
I just think it's such an interesting world, therapy. I mean, we're all big believers, proponents of it. But there are boundaries, and they're there for a reason, and it's quite a fun, in terms of comedy and drama, to play with those limits.
Jessica Williams is hilarious.
Oh,
Amazing.
the best.
Amazing.
At one point when she's talking about your alternative approach and she's just changing the subject.
Stop. You're doing sad face.
This is just face. I have resting dead wife face.
That was hilarious. What was it like working with just such a powerful cast?
Well, the cast is incredible. Jessica Williams in particular I'll speak to. It was really exciting every day when I would show up and do scenes with her. And then the rest of the cast is like, first of all, there's Harrison Ford, who you had no idea Harrison Ford was this funny. It's unbelievable. And then Lukita Maxwell, Luke Tenney, like this entire cast are stellar.
Can you talk a little bit about Gabby's character as well?
What I think is amazing about Jessica, and all of them really, is you go, it's intimidating. You've got Jason Segel and Harrison Ford. And I watched Jessica, and I was like, she's so funny and so lovable and brilliant and subtle, and she does a lot of great improv as well.
What do you guys hope that the audience takes away from this?
That you walk away from any of these things feeling hopeful and excited, like, oh, I'm part of a collective humanity that's trying to make it through a really confusing time.
What I like about this show is I think it does have really heavy stuff in it. It's got grief, it's got Parkinson's, it's got, you know, bad parenting, it's got so much, it's got divorce, it's got a lot of issues going on in it. But I do hope that at the end you feel better. You feel like, okay, well, at least there's, it's literally a journey from darkness to light.
That's kind of what therapy is about, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Addressing that.
Yeah.
Tink you guys so much for
Hey,
your
you nailed
time.
it.
Thank you,
Appreciate
you were a
it.
great therapist.
Yeah.
Thank you. Those two together are trouble and so much fun. Our thanks to Jason Segel and Brett Goldstein for that. Shrinking is now available to watch on Apple TV+.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.